I'm not stopping anymore, bro. Nothing is holding me back anymore. Not my weight, not my mental health, nothing, bro. I'm going for it in life, bro. I'm self sabotaging, bro, and I don't know why. Every time I eat a meal, I know I'm not supposed to be eating it, but I do it anyway. It's almost as if my identity is completely attached to being miserable, and I'll do anything to stay there. Don't point in my face. Don't point in my face, bro. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you, guys.
It's
I'm not
very,
playing.
very interesting. It's very interesting that the first thing you're not saying to me is an apology.
How's it going today, guys? In today's video, we're going to be looking at Will Kelly, a 26-year-old, 500-plus pound man who's always allowed his desires and cravings to control every fabric of his being. And when he tried to better himself, he found something that was far more appealing to him, something that gave him far more joy than bettering his life ever could. And that was a purpose. And Will Kelly's purpose was internet fame. What started out as an uplifting story of a man trying to change himself at any cost somehow turned in one of the most controversial creators on TikTok right now. Will Kelly came from humble beginnings, losing his father at a young age, and he never got to see his mother often. She was having to work a majority of his childhood, and add on to the fact that he was homeschooled, Will felt isolated and needing to fill that void. Instead of substances, violence, or anything like that, William chose a different option, one that probably felt innocent at the time. Eating mainly fast and junk food, what started out as like a child's dream quickly overwhelmed him until it became a living nightmare. And when we first meet Will, you can instantly tell this is a man who's been suffering with his life choices for a long time. Life has taken its toll and he genuinely wants to change.
But in the last 3-4 years, it got really bad. I went from being kind of just like the big guy at the party to my 600-pound life type stuff. 6 months ago, I was at my heaviest, which was 630 pounds, and life was pretty unenjoyable. My legs swelled up. When I would lay down, the fat around my neck would suffocate me. Anytime I would like go to sleep, I would start to, feel like I couldn't breathe and have to wake up. I couldn't wipe myself because my arm literally like couldn't fit around my body. So I would have to like take a toothbrush and wrap toilet paper around it. Overall, my life was pretty unenjoyable. I decided to make a change. In the last 6 months, I've lost 100 pounds. This is going to be a journey of a couple of years. And I decided I wanted to document it. I kind of wanted to document it in real time because every time I see someone who's lost weight, what they do is record the beginning of it and then record the end. But I think the real fight is in the middle. That's the real hard part. It's Monday. It's cold. I don't want to work out. But I know, like truly, if I don't, it's a slippery slope. If I don't work out, then I'm going to cheat on my diet. If I cheat on my diet, then I'm just going to say forget my diet altogether. And next thing you know, I'm 600 pounds again. And that's not going to happen. I'm 25 years old, bro, and I don't have a license because I literally can't fit into a driver's seat of a car, bro. Like, I literally... Bro, I can't. Oh, shit. I guess I kind of can't. But it's very uncomfortable. No, that's crazy. Bro, this is a milestone. This is like a non-scale milestone people talk about. This is amazing. But yeah, I'm 25 years old and I don't have my license because I've weighed so much, bro. I'm not stopping anymore, bro. Nothing is holding me back anymore. Not my weight, not my mental health, nothing, bro. I'm going for it in life, bro. I'm going for it, and I can't wait for you guys to see. I can't wait for myself to see. I can't wait for me to look in the mirror and be so proud of what I am, bro. And I can't wait. Thank you guys for coming on the journey with me, guys. I'm sorry. I got really excited that I can fit into the car seat. All right. Love you guys. Thank you.
Those were some of the first videos ever posted by Will, and we meet a jovial person who seems fully aware of the consequences of their actions and not afraid to admit their faults, and was extremely honest about the reality of being overweight, the small joys in life that Will misses out on because no other reason than his own addiction. And unlike most who go through similar problems, Will recognizes it and longs for the day where this isn't his reality anymore, and because of this, almost immediately Will was able to garner a large amount of supporters because in the beginning, you could see that Will was willing to change. He was taking the steps to get there, figuratively and literally, a huge moment for anyone to finally admit they have a problem and take a step to change. But Will wanted to give himself the added pressure of documenting everything online. Think of it as a support system, and where I don't think it's a great idea for a majority of people, the stress of change can be overwhelming as is, but I think there was another part to the equation on Will's reasoning for this. He has always been lonely, and he didn't really feel his family members could truly understand his struggles, and to his surprise, a lot of people cared and was ready to follow along with him. And as Will said himself, people are far more interested in the middle of the story, how you got to where you're at. And at this time, I imagine Will never expected some of the other challenges his online presence would bring. I guess you could call it the perks of virality. Quickly showed they're not always a blessing.
Now that I can finally fit in a driver's seat, I took my first driving lesson to get my license in 2025, and it was amazing.
Stop looking at the camera and look at the road. Okay. Slowly let go of the brake. Now, turn it to the right more. Turn it to the right more. Straighten out. Now straighten out. Straighten out. You feel it how it's straighten out. Straighten out. Keep it. Go ahead. Keep it. Okay, you can give it a little gas. Just a little bit. Don't stomp on it. Tap the gas. Still be looking in your mirror. This is so scary. No, it's not. It's life. Give it some more gas. Give it some gas. All right, slow down, son.
I'm really starting to comprehend that the days you want to quit are the days you have to move forward, right? It's not the easy days. And people say that, but let me tell you why. Because if you quit on the hard days, you'll end up quitting on the easy days, bro. I ended up going to the grocery store. I'm actually outside of it right now. I wanted to get ice cream and lotion. You know what I got? Tabasco and water. Like, literally, bro. I'm not quitting on myself anymore, bro. That's the whole point of the message, man. I'm not quitting on my workouts. I'm not quitting on my diet. I'm not quitting on my spirit, bro. Hi, my name is Will. I lost 100 pounds. At my heaviest, I was 630 pounds. Now I'm around 530-ish. Honestly, I'm extremely lonely, bro. Valentine's Day is coming up. It's really hard for me not to be depressed right now. Like, I've always dealt with, like, clinical depression and anxiety. That's where a lot of my weight gain has actually come from, was me almost self-soothing with food. But as Valentine's Day approaches, I'm really trying my hardest to fight depression, bro. On most Valentine's Days, I would gorge as much food as possible and, like, get the itis. I remember one Valentine's Day, I ordered literally as much fried chicken as I could. I ate as much of it as I could. I had the itis. I couldn't even get off the couch. And then I used the chicken grease to myself. That wasn't that long ago, honestly. That was maybe a few years ago, maybe 2. I don't know what to do. I feel unattractive. I think dating is hard for anybody, but at my size, I really don't know how I'd even meet a person. Am I too big to date is a question. You know, am I too big to go out and try to find somebody to spend time with? So you guys were not feeling the weekly weigh-in song last week. So I actually got a submission from Katrina, shout out to her, on what the new weekly weigh-in song should be. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's the weekly weigh-in. Let's see what the scale is saying. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Let me know. Leave it in the comments. Here's how much I weigh. So I'm at 528, which isn't bad, but it's not great, right? Ideally, at my size, I'd be losing around 5 pounds a week. So I'm definitely going to have to readjust my diet, see what I did last week. And, but we're moving forward. You know, this was not a bad week. I know I look crazy when I work out. I know I look nuts. It's a whole lot of flipping and flopping and booping and bopping. Bro, my pants be falling down. My titties is out. All of it, bro. But I can't be self-conscious. That's a lie. I'm extremely self-conscious. That's why I don't like working out in front of people. But I can't allow that to hold me back. I'm realizing, bro, I've never had an actual problem with pursuing something. There's always been a reason not to, and it was my own insecurities, right? I'm too big, I'm too this, I'm too that. Like, bro, I realized at a certain point, I felt like I was too fat to go to the gym. What sense does that make? Literally, what sense does that make? It makes no sense at all, man.
At this stage in Will Kelly's TikTok journey, he was very dedicated. Almost every video was him working out and posting morning motivation videos, not even for the viewers, to motivate himself, just to get out of bed and go to the gym. And the effort Will was putting in was reflecting on the scale, losing over 100 pounds before he even decided to fully commit on making a TikTok page. But as some of you may know, no matter how dedicated you are to something and no matter how much the drive is, at some point, Those wear off, and all you're left with is yourself and the mental fortitude to stick with those habits. And at the time, Will wasn't showing any drop in effort. If anything, he was showing even more dedication and a quirkier side of himself. When he first began on TikTok, Will Kelly comes off as a more humble, quiet, and self-aware, but there's far more to him than that. Will has a more entertaining side to him, and above all else, Will loves attention, and he'll get that attention no matter what. As you heard, even early on admitting to doing some very strange stuff with chicken grease, which most people would probably only remember in one of those embarrassing moments in your life, nighttime thoughts your brain likes to throw at you to keep you awake. But Will just admits this stuff, and I speculate he might be telling the truth, but either way, it's just how Will has learned to get attention. If nobody is paying you any mind, well, he'll say something out of the blue that may bring you embarrassment, but it fulfills a deeper need for him. That's attention. And at this point, we're already facing problems because of his decision to document this, with all the people flooding to the comments and showing him support. These comments emulated the goals he's chasing by losing weight, and because of them, it's already setting him off track.
I hate leg workouts. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. But I'm still motivated to do them. How did I motivate myself, you ask? Good question. I've decided I'm going to dunk. Yes, me. 10-foot rim, regulation size basketball. It might not be today, tomorrow, next year, or the year after, but by the age of 30, I'm going to be looking like LeBron James. That's how I've motivated myself. That's where all of my addiction stems from, is my low self-esteem, my insecurity. I'm not there anymore, thank God, but I'm not where I need to be either. And I'm recognizing that's what this journey really is. It's the journey of me getting to the mountaintop. The weight loss is important, of course. It's health. I'm saving my life. But it's really just a physical manifestation of a real mental health problem, a real emotional health problem, a real spiritual health problem. I'm growing every day, and I'm going to get there. That's a promise to myself. That's a promise to you. That's why I put these videos out here, so I can be held accountable.
A lot of Will's early goals can be seen as ridiculous by many, but myself, I think Will knows he'll never achieve the look LeBron James has, or even be able to dunk in 3 to 5 years time, or probably ever, but it gives him a goal in his mind that he can continue to work towards every day. And during this time, Will began to open up about his mental struggles with this, and something we have to keep in mind for Will, this isn't just losing weight, this is him fighting an addiction. Addiction to substances are hard habits to break in general. A lot of people never do, and by no means is food addiction any different. With this one exception, we all have to eat. Addicts, unless weaning from substances that are dangerous during withdrawal phases, don't have to smoke a few cigs every day to keep going, but a food addict always will. So you can't just stop eating entirely, you have to learn to control that, and on top of all of that, continue going to the gym. Multiple lifestyle changes all at once. It's going to wear on you quickly, and Will has already began to suffer from that, and to his credit, at the time, he seems to be on the right path, dieting to the best of his ability, seeming to work out almost every other day. I think it would have been beneficial to do far more home eating and limiting the dining and fast food to almost zero, but everyone goes their own path, and by all means, at this point, he seemed to be going in the right direction.
One of my favorite meals is I would get literally a whole roast beef, but I wouldn't cook the roast beef regular, right? I'd cut it into like little steaks, and I'd fry the roast beef in like a whole bunch of butter. Take the Tabasco, drench it in the Tabasco after.
This don't even sound good.
And then have a big bag of these, eat until I was unconscious.
That's so much salt.
You love the Starburst. You know you love the Starburst, the Skittles. So I used to get a pack of these. I used to get these. And this would be like what I snacked on for like the whole weekend, bro. And by the end of the weekend, it'd be done. This has 27 servings. That's like around 3,000 calories. If I had one weakness in life. Why are cheeses branded as healthy? I would kill a box of these though. This might be one of the fattest things I ever did, right? I used to get a big thing of DiGiorno's, get individual mozzarella sticks, you know, like the snacks, get some Italian sausages. I used to literally place them for extra cheese and then take the sausage and put the sausage on top for extra sausage. I used to kill the whole thing, bro. Drink soda no more. You feel me? I used to like that Coca-Cola. I used to be on that Pepsi. I was like a dick on Sprite. I'm not doing it no more, baby. I've not been coming around a lot often. It's just, I don't know if you heard, I'm losing weight, and I just don't think our relationship is the healthiest. But I've not forgotten you. I think maybe in a few years we could pick it up. I just need to work on myself right now. I want to sip one last time. No, I can't do it. I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Will, and at my heaviest, I was 630 pounds. I've been documenting my weight loss journey on social media, and a lot of people are wondering how I gained that amount of weight. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't in a short amount of time. It took me about 12 years to gain 600 pounds. I started gaining weight when I was 12. My mom worked all the time, and I was in control of my diet. So I was eating what a 12-year-old eats. Candy for dinner, chips for lunch. By the time I was 14, 8th grade, I was officially a fat kid. I could tell because that was the last time I was able to see my schlong. Like, I was 14 years old, I'm 25 now, so it's been about 11 years since I've seen it. By that time, once I was officially a fat kid, I went into a real depression, and food stopped being just this fun thing I was doing and started to be a real emotional dependent on me. I became a pretty mean and angry person. I isolated, and I started to eat a lot. And by the time I graduated high school, so from 14 to 18, I was about 330, 340 pounds. Then I went off to college. Somehow things got worse there too. I ended up having a mental breakdown my first semester. I deal with severe anxiety, severe depression. I've worked on it now, and it's a lot better. Taking me a long time, and at 18, I wasn't there yet. At 19, at this point, I go home, I just start eating it. I'm the most depressed, most mentally withdrawn I've ever been. I start eating everything I can. I'm eating Popeyes every day. I'm eating hot wings every day. I'm even stealing money from my mom, bro. That's how bad it got, like real crackhead stuff. So that happens when I'm about 19. I end up going back to college, a different school this time. I'm kind of the same weight then. I'm about 380 at this point. I stay about 380 for a year, and then I drop out after my sophomore year. Once I drop out, I go and I get a job, and that's when the weight gain really starts to happen. Now I have money. I have money that I can buy food with. I don't go out with friends anymore. I don't hang out with anybody. I'm literally spending my whole paycheck on bills and food. And I'm eating well. I'm eating like Ruth's Chris every night, and I go from 380 at 20 to 500 at the beginning of 2022, so I was 22 years old at that point. And that's when things got really, really bad.
Will is an unfortunate example of parents allowing their kids to do whatever they please early on. Will struggled a lot to make emotional connections with people. Losing his dad, he really didn't have anybody to guide him throughout his life except his older brother, and his older brother was growing up himself and couldn't stop Will from his eating habits. And those times he wasn't around, Will was left to his own devices, alone, left with his own thoughts, and at a young age where most of us would think about the next day in school or what friends we might play with, Will was thinking about something different, his next meal, to the point that's all he could think about. And as unfortunate as it is, many kids do have those thoughts, but Will wasn't malnourished. He was the opposite. He was trying to fill a gap in himself that existed for a very long time and began to use this food to fill that gap. And in a relatively short time frame, no pun intended, his vices consumed him. At the age of 20, Will was already pushing 400 pounds, and at a rate of around 60 plus pounds a year, by the age of 22, Will had already surpassed 500, and it wouldn't stop there. Up until around 2024, when Will decided to change his life, he had surpassed 600 plus pounds with no signs of slowing down anytime soon. No doubt about it, if he kept going at that rate, seeing his 30s would have been a miracle. And through some of his TikToks, we can see just how he got to that point. A simple grocery store run had to cost him hundreds. He was turning what could have been multiple snacks throughout the week, potentially a few breakfasts and a lunch, into one meal with his mozzarella sticks, sausage, Red Baron pizzas. And keep in mind, that's just one of his concoctions he mentioned. It's no wonder when he said just trying to feed himself for a single week, even being frugal with his spending, cost him around $700, almost $3,000 a month. Some people's house bills combined doesn't equal to that much.
I have pretty serious abandonment issues. It's something that I've dealt with for my entire life. I had a lot of loss when I was younger, from the death of people to me getting removed from my family and a whole bunch of stuff, and it's really affected me as I've gotten older. I've lost relationships, friendships. Either I push people away when I see them getting too close, or I get too clingy and the person runs away for dear life. And it's something that I've really been dealing with, really been battling with, and I'm doing better, honestly. When I started posting content, my first video did so well. I got so much love, so much encouragement, so much support, and it really meant the world to me. As time went on and my audience got bigger, I started getting some hate too, right? But that kind of just comes with making online content. I used to be the biggest internet troll. So the trolls never bothered me. The people making little comments here and there, I kind of shrugged it off. It comes with the game. But recently I started seeing some of my supporters turn on me. People making comments like, he's not serious because he's not showing us him working out, or saying I wasn't really giving away my power meals, I was eating them after the video. And if these were random people, I'd be cool with it. But these were people who at one point were supporting me. And suddenly all of my abandonment issues got triggered. Everything just came back. I started putting together a video of me giving out my power meals. And actually today I did a workout vlog. And in the middle of doing the workout vlog, I realized this is not what I want to do. I'm regressing right now. I'm folding to the pressures of society. I'm trying to meet the expectations of others rather than doing what I know is best for me. And that's the whole point of what I'm doing this for. This is not a weight loss channel. This is about me becoming the best version of myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, socially. This is a personal development channel.
I think deep down, Will Kelly is a good person. In these early videos, it's clearly evident. However, I also believe that Will Kelly is a hurt person. Throughout his entire life, he's always been pushed away, the kind of kid who was picked last at all the sports, didn't get any signatures in the yearbook. He was the true definition of an outcast. The only thing that made him stand out was his weight, and people made sure he knew it, dealing with constant scrutiny. I believe Will had to make a choice in his mind, to either sit there and brew, or be the first to say something to beat them to the punch. And that's how he's been operating most of his life ever since, preferring to be the jester in people's eyes instead of being the town pariah. So when he was finally accepted for once on TikTok, no matter how prepared he says he was, I just don't think Will was ready or capable of dealing with the criticism, even with how little it was at the time. And I believe some of the so-called hate was people being overly critical for sure, but some probably had fair points. The pressure was just too much, and what he calls not succumbing to peer pressure looks more like him throwing in the towel before they can say something else. Because most of Will's big personality that you'll see more of later in this video is just a wall to mask the hurt individual inside of him. So it doesn't take much to demotivate him or break him down. The entire ground he was trying to build his channel on is built on sand, and if there's enough resistance, it's going to crumble. And Will isn't strong enough mentally or emotionally to build that up again. He's going to revert back to his old habits. And coincidentally, around the time he first started getting criticism was the same time he introduced a new series, which would go on to be his most damaging and notorious series to date, Power Mills, which in my opinion was the beginning of the end of his health journey. A small glimpse of defeat, people just didn't quite know it yet. But you may be wondering, what are Power Mills? Just the meals Will used to eat at mainly fast food restaurants when he was over 600 pounds. Nothing special.
This is what I used to eat at Subway when I was over 600 pounds. None of this looks appetizing to me. We're here for another Will Kelly power meal. It was crazy. Bro, I swear I'm the only one that could go to Subway and find a way to make it fat, bro. My sandwiches here used to be legendary. I used to go crazy, dog. Hello, you think 5 minutes? This is crazy. Back when I was a regular, I never had to wait for my order. You see what happens when you change your life? People start treating you differently. A foot-long Italian, roast beef, and pepperoni on it. Can I get extra meat for both of those? Now, most people think roast beef and pepperoni is a disgusting combination. Of course, toasted. For the pizza, can we have just a pizza with just extra cheese and sausage on it? Okay, pepperoni. Cheetos! No veggies on the pizza, man. This is back when I wasn't eating vegetables. Because this is the best feeling. When you can see it across the window and you know it's going to be in your mouth and you know it's going to be succulent. It's, oh my God. Actually, on top of the, oh man, on the pepperoni, I messed up. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We'll do both. It's amazing. Yep, that's good. That's great. That's it. No dressing. This does not look as delicious as it used to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't eat Subway to lose weight because the last fat man that ate Subway to lose weight is now doing life for, you know, being a diddler. Bang. We got it. It's about to be a good day. You know I had to get the large fountain drink, all this bread. Now usually I would do some mix and match. Sometimes I would go with the Aki blueberry pomegranate if I wanted to trick myself into thinking I was healthy. But this time, it would just be a pure Coca-Cola day. This is what I used to eat at White Castle when I was over 600 pounds. It's still dry and greasy at the same time. It was crazy. Let's check it out. Every time I walk into a White Castle, I feel like I'm in the 1950s when I look at the artwork and everything. It makes me think of a simpler time when I wouldn't have been allowed to eat here. How's it going? Can I get 2 6-piece rings, a large drink, 2 large fries? Yeah, can I get an order of mozzarella sticks? 5. And can I get, what size do your hamburgers come in again? Okay, not come in 2s or can I get 3? Yeah, let me get 3 cheeseburgers. The lunch rush is happening. Bro, they didn't give me my drink. Excuse me, can I get my drink? Got a large drink? One sec. Alright, she said 1 second. I'm not gonna say when you order from White Castle, you're dealing with a certain. See, I can't even say that. That's crazy. You know what I was gonna say. Looking at the food now, it finally came out after about 45 minutes. Somehow it's still dry and greasy at the same time. This does not look appealing to me at all. Maybe it's because most of the time I was eating or consuming this, I was intoxicated, right? Shao, Harold, and Kumar. I think I made that reference already. None of this looks good to me anymore, bro. None of it. I really am changing my life. Maybe it never looked good. White Castle was never my go-to, to be honest. But I don't want it. Again, I'm not eating this. I'm gonna give it away. But part of me's proud of myself for changing. Part of me's just like, why was I ever here? Why was I ever consuming this?
The Power Meal series was a true glimpse into the struggle of past Will, or should I say potentially current Will. The amount of portions normally bought by him showcased that he was easily eating meals that could feed a family of 3, or perhaps on some occasions for even more. I couldn't imagine how much longer he would have been able to keep up with this lifestyle, but as previously stated, this series brought a lot more problems than Will was initially expecting. Like his personality towards the workers, which there's no other way to say it, it's downright rude, demanding, and critical of them. Never really taking into account the stress of being on camera, if they wanted to be on camera in the first place, or their feelings, and this would only get worse as time went on, but at the moment, this was just a side note. The more pressing question was immediately asked: why Will turn the camera off before giving away the food? Will certainly isn't afraid to exploit emotions for content, so you'd think it would be a nice addition to the videos and above all else, proof and again begin to start helping him grow as a person. But throughout every video I've watched of Will's, and I've watched almost his entire catalog, I've only ever seen him give 2 people a meal, and that's with probably over 50 plus Power Meal videos on his TikTok. So the evidence really isn't on his side. And it also coincides with Will's stagnation of losing weight or gaining more weight. And I don't think it's because Will is a straight liar. I believe we're just watching a man battle his addiction and need for attention. And he lost one battle. But those power meals are bringing in far more views than his other videos. Not only because of the spectacle, but because of the controversy. And more questions meant more hate. And with more hate brought a true crisis for him. He now wants to be a TikToker far more than a healthy individual.
So my brother let me know earlier today that he's no longer going to be in social situations with me. He finds me to be extremely attention-seeking and pretty obnoxious. I was on a group FaceTime with him and my mom, and they both, I mean, the general consensus was that I'm obnoxious. And it's gotten to a point where my brother isn't comfortable being in group settings with me. If I'm there, he's just going to remove himself. That includes like family functions. This is extremely disheartening. My brother and I have often had a contentious relationship, but it's never been to a point where he didn't want to come around, you know? He's the man behind the camera in a lot of my videos. He's someone who has supported me my entire life. My brother raised me. My mom worked all the time. My dad died when I was 4. My brother was the man in my life. He taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me how to shoot a basket. He came to all my basketball games, taught me how to tie my shoes, helped me with my homework. When I think about who raised me, I think about my brother. And after this, all of my abandonment issues got triggered. I wanted to cry, to be honest. And after wanting to cry, I wanted to eat. I have often felt extremely alone. I've often felt as if people love me but don't like me. And all of those feelings came coming back. The one consistent in my life I felt like was food. When I felt this way, I had food to go to. I made the decision I was going to work out this morning. And now I really don't want to get out of bed. I sounded so tough in that video. It's so much harder in real life. But I did make the decision, so I'm in here. Monday motivation. Let's get it. I'm regretting that decision. I'm not going to hold you. I'm starting to get self-conscious about posting videos. I'm wondering, are people laughing with me or are they laughing at me? This is how I think some people see me. I get a lot of positive comments, but then sometimes I get negative comments, and it makes me not want to post. It makes me want to kind of go into my shell, but then I realize that's what they want me to do. I'm never going to be that person. I'm always going to take up space. I'm always going to laugh. You know, I'm still in a bad space, guys. I've lost 100 pounds, which is great, which is an accomplishment, but I have hundreds of pounds more to lose. It's going to take me years. I got to stay laughing. I got to keep an excited momentum. I got to keep my head on straight, or I'm not going to be able to do it. And I do that through my comedy. I do that through the jokes. I do that through me being myself and sharing my life. And I'm not going back for anybody.
Not only was his online reputation and his goals beginning to come into question, but some far more personal relationships were beginning to break down for him as well, with his brother who, up until this point in his video, was the main cameraman, the dude always following Will around, keeping him in check, and now he was slowly losing that, as well with all the walls closing in on him, like most other addicts. He unfortunately began to fall into his old habits, and at this time, there were still sparks of inspiration where you'd see him storming to the gym in the morning to prove that he still had it in him, but soon came the relapse, and like most addicts, he found himself in the vicious crutches of the cycle. Every time he believed he'd taken a step out, he found the hole was even deeper, and at this time, I think it would have been truly beneficial for Will to take his brother's advice, that he was too much and embarrassed him out in public, something that would come back to bite Will later in his career. But also because this is a very personal struggle for Will. You're not always going to have somebody to fall back on. Sometimes life makes you deal with struggles alone, sometimes at your most desperate. And at these moments, willpower comes into play the most, but every time Will goes to face that battle, he loses to his demons, each and every single time.
When I was like 600 pounds and living in that one-bedroom apartment, like,
I made peace with your death in preparation. But
are you joking or serious?
Not expectation. Yeah, I realized that there was nothing else, like there was nothing I could specifically do to not have you harm yourself in that way. And that if I ever did get the call, to not be like utterly shocked, like, oh my God, where did this come from? But
tell the people.
Yes, I thought my brother was gonna die.
And how'd that make you feel? You love me.
Yeah, I was upset, and then I told you I made peace with self.
So
while still loving you.
So you would have been all right. Your day would have kept going on if I died.
No, but life goes on.
I don't feel like I've been a good brother. I don't feel like I've been a good son. Not just because of my weight, but because of other factors too. I feel as if I've been a strain on my family's mental, emotional, financial resources. People ask me how I used to afford to eat as much as I did. Bro, there was a time where I was stealing from my mom. Like that really happened. Like I felt like a real junkie when I was doing that, bro. And the reason Mother's Day is so hard for me is because I don't know how to repay my mom for everything that she's done for me. My mom wasn't a perfect mother by any extent, but my mom never quit on me, bro. Ever. She never quit on me. At my heaviest. And I think she's proud of me now, but I really don't know what to do to make up for it. I never thought, growing up, I didn't think people cared about me at all. And so, when you don't think anybody cares about you, you're pretty selfish, right? You only really think about yourself, what you want, what your needs are. And now that I'm in a healthier place, both physically and mentally, I'm starting to see the effects of what my weight has really done to my family. My brother, my mom, my aunt, everybody, bro. There were people who cared about me who I just didn't think cared about me. My actions had consequences that I didn't even know about. You can smell the ice cream. It's warm outside. The cool air. We're back in it, man. It's feeling like summertime. What's your name, bro? All right, walk away. It's fine. He's not messing with my energy. You know why? We're in Dairy Queen. I used to love Dairy Queen. It used to be my favorite thing in the whole wide world. But now I've changed my life. Orange Julius is attached. Never been a big Orange Julius fan. Gotta be honest with you. You know, we don't discriminate. If you like Orange Julius, that's fine. Just don't come around me.
Hey, has somebody already took your order already?
No, they have not.
Well,
but I think you're the guy for it.
I think I am also. How are you?
I'm having a spiritual awakening right now, man.
That's okay. I wish I can join.
Could I please have a Choco Brownie Extreme Blizzard?
Small, medium, or large?
You know we gotta do it large.
Okay.
What makes Dairy Queen special is the Blizzard. There's nothing better than a Dairy Queen Blizzard. Marcus,
What's up?
tell me what we have here, man.
So we got a chocolate brownie extreme. I put some extra brownies in there for me too. Yep. I'm going large, by the way. We're at the Lincoln Park location here in Chicago, so come check me out.
You gotta do the test. Ah! It's okay. It didn't fall. It didn't fall. Shout out to Marcus. Oh my God, look at this, bro. I don't want to give this one away, but I have to.
Your order didn't go through that.
The money?
Yes. It did.
Oh my God. We good?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please tell the audience that it was a mistake,
Yes.
all right? It was a mistake, all right? I got money in my account, all right? Don't get the content mixed up, all right? This ain't my only job. I'm moving around out here, all right?
I don't think Will's brother handles him in the right way. One thing that he yearns for the most is real connection, and hearing that your brother has come to peace with your fate, no matter how true it is or reality checking it can be, isn't going to settle well with the person of Will's character. He views his brother as a father figure, somebody he looks up to help guide him out of his struggles, but at this moment, I think this changed. And once again, I'll say his brother was right to hold that thought. Will's self-destructive nature is his own doing, and sometimes you can't hold yourself accountable for others' own actions. But telling Will these feelings wasn't going to help him at this moment in time. He now once again is that kid alone in his room, facing the world by himself, and he can't handle that feeling. And now instead of what started as a journey for self-improvement where everything that he did only improved his life, it starts to evolve into the Will Show, where he begins pushing away everything that is difficult in his life and begins chasing what feels good again. And now the TikTok becomes his main priority. Not just yet, but we're getting there, and we actually get to see the Will that his family often deals with. And to say the least, he's still jovial, quirky, and seems like a chill guy, but underneath that, you see a very rude and narcissistic personality to the point sometimes during his power meals, he's asking the entire restaurant if they know who he is. Both his weight and his ego begin to start dominating his personality, leaving us with a man who in a few short months would be almost unrecognizable.
What else you plan on piercing?
Right?
This.
I gotta change my clothes, bro. I look like a plumber. No, for real.
That is not a plumber fit.
This is a plumber fit.
I would hope not. I'm not letting you in my house.
See?
Literally,
You see what I'm saying? I can't even come in your house dressed how I'm dressed. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Mama, you know I love you.
You should have a career in singing. Really? You're really good.
You've already got the sale. you don't got a lot. You already got it.
They get the best hugs.
Wait, what?
If you're soft, you get the best hugs.
Did she just call me fluffy?
This is declining that protection one more time.
That's how you ended up with your first kid.
But I'm also like very anxious individual, so I also don't like it.
Is that why it's high energy? Does that make you more comfortable almost?
Yep, it does. But then if like the other is quiet, I'm like, oh dang.
Yeah, now it's awkward. Now I'm uncomfortable. Are you real friends or work friends?
We're real friends.
You caught a body together?
Don't be saying that.
Oh, my bad. I'm 25. How old I look?
I honestly thought around 23. Don't smile like that. I honestly thought, sorry. I didn't mean to say it like that.
Right.
So it won't hurt, but it'll kind of
No, that shit about to hurt.
a small burn, okay?
I thought we had a lot of chemistry. So I decided to go back to the mall and ask her out. Bro, why am I nervous, bro? Why do I have butterflies right now? This is crazy, bro. I feel like I'm in 6th grade asking Shorty to like the school dance or something. When people are like, the worst thing she could say is no. The worst thing she could say is, I'm calling security. Why are you harassing me at my job? You know what I mean? Yep. While I was approaching as I saw her, I realized I just need to project as much confidence as possible. Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
What's up? You didn't tell me you were coming.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
You caught me on my break.
I did?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not clocked in right now.
So did you see the video?
I did see the video.
Did you like it?
I did like it. My whole family seen the video.
Are you shocked at like how popular I am?
I was a little shocked, but I
Yeah.
was already like on your.
Yeah. You follow me already, right?
Exactly.
I want to know if you like want to hang out, like a date type thing.
I have a boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend?
I don't give off the vibe.
No, you don't.
Sorry.
No. All right. Is it like a real boyfriend or
We've
is it
been
like
together for 4 years.
not gonna trip out? Not gonna. She was cool about it, bro. She didn't make it like a thing. She wasn't patronizing or anything like that. So I mean, I'm not tripping. I'm not tripping. I was tripping. Not because of Michaela. Michaela is super cool. Shout out to her boyfriend. He's a lucky guy, right? I was tripping because all of my self-doubt, all of my insecurity, all of my feelings of inadequacy came back. It rushed in like a tidal wave. And it just took me out. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to like hide under the covers, get into a shell. I could just feel it over my body. And it was like all of the work that I've done for these past years, it didn't matter at that moment, bro. I felt like the same fat kid with social anxiety. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix that. Please let me know in the comments because I never want to feel like that again. I got stood up. What I thought was going to be my first date in 5 years actually turned into me sitting on the couch, contemplating my existence, feeling really bad about myself. Hi, my name's Will. At my heaviest weight, I was over 600 pounds. I've lost more than 100 pounds. And here's where I'm documenting not just my weight loss journey, but my personal growth journey. And I actually had someone who was watching that journey. She reached out to me, she DM'd me, we started talking. She was coming to Chicago for her friend's birthday. While she was here, she wanted to hang out. She was gonna be here all weekend. She really wanted to spend the weekend with me. She actually suggested that I stay with her. At that point, I got really excited because I'm thinking I'm about to, you feel me? I'm like super ecstatic. She's super cool. We're talking back and forth. Friday comes around when we're supposed to meet up. The communication gets a little dry, but I'm not tripping on it, right? Because my thing is she's driving in from out of state. It's like a 4-hour drive, so I figured she's just busy. I don't know why she would do that, right? Why she would ghost me. I felt like a complete loser. I'm sitting there dressed, sitting on my couch, watching my phone as like the time just gets later and later and later. I felt like a little kid waiting for his dad to come pick him up. This whole journey is about me not wanting to feel like a loser anymore. Me striving to like myself again, bro. Me striving to really just like myself again. And this just knocked me back. And I don't know if it's because I'm a guy, but it really feels like people don't ever care how I feel. Like, she knows my journey. She watches my videos. She knows what I'm going through. And she still decided to just disregard my feelings.
With the brand new look and far more viewers, Will began to show us a different side of himself. A far more romantic version, with him starting to estrange himself from his family members, and his newfound attention on TikTok. Will most definitely began using this to his advantage. What started as simple rizzing streams and videos that really went nowhere, Will started using a little bit more of his popularity to get interviews with girls, and things completely changed. If he saw somebody he found attractive, he would immediately start trying to score a date with them, almost always unsuccessfully, which led to a lot of embarrassing moments, which I can only imagine did nothing to help him mentally. His entire life he's been rejected, and now his father figure is slowly cutting ties with him, and for content's sake only, Will is now subjecting himself to public humiliation, and he can try and pretend all he wants to that this is absolutely fine and he's doing it for the laughs. But we know that deep down Will is hoping to secure a date with these girls, not realizing they're just playing along for the camera. And when the rizzing videos just flat out didn't work anymore, he didn't stop trying. He just began receiving messages of women interested in him, and that could never go wrong. I just don't think this was the most productive thing he could have been doing. Not only are online relationships extremely rare to make work in the first place, but this was also the time Will was getting a lot more attention, including a lot of hate, so he is really setting himself up for people to play with his fragile emotions, and I believe because of these videos and the tension already between him and his brother, led to one of his most self-destructive moments in his personal life.
I ruined my family's vacation.
Me is an apology.
No. Oh, suck my. If you saw my last post, you know I have a very complicated relationship with my family. And I have to be honest, I do play a part in that. I was coming into the house during our family vacation so defensive that when my uncle spoke to my cameraman in a disrespectful manner, I kind of went crazy.
Hi, who are you? What are you doing here?
Santiago, don't talk to him like that.
I can talk to him however I like, sir.
This is my homie, bro. I'm telling you, don't talk to him like that.
I asked him who he is and what he's doing here.
Just say it in a polite manner.
He's a man who entered our home and isn't a member of
That
our
I
family.
invited.
I met him, Glenn.
Yes.
That's really not the point of what's happening here, though. If
The,
we may.
the point is, you're gonna watch how you talk to him.
The point
That's
is
the
you're
point.
going to watch how you talk to
Yo,
me.
get the finger. Don't point in my face.
I can do whatever I like, sir.
Don't point in my face. Don't point in my face, bro. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you, guys.
It's
I'm not
very,
playing.
very
Record it.
interesting. It's very interesting that the
Record it.
first thing you're not saying to me is an apology.
No, bro. Oh, suck my. Is that clear? I think that's a lot. Hey, yo, do not put your hands on me, gang. Do not put your hands on me, bro. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Do not put your hands on me.
Wait, I just like to.
Do not. No. I'm saying, don't put your hands on me. Now we eventually made up.
I'll stay if you stay.
I'll stay if you stay.
Okay.
Okay.
And if we both stay calm.
And if we stay calm.
Okay.
We're the same type of crazy.
We are. That's why I always
That's
like
what
you.
I'm saying. Okay. The problem is, before I saw the video, I would have sworn I was completely in the right. But watching it back, I just came in way too aggressive, way too ready to fight, and I wasn't really defending myself. This time, I was the perpetrator. I gotta realize that I'm not the scared little kid anymore, you know what I mean? But I have to make sure I don't then become the abuser. I'm really sorry, I'm a little embarrassed. I didn't want to post this clip, but I always want to be transparent with you guys and show you my personal journey and let you know that I'm trying hard, and sometimes you make mistakes. Alright, so I'm about to go get a wheelchair, right? This is the secret to the airport, especially as a fat person. Most people are too embarrassed to get a wheelchair, but I take my shirt off on the internet. I have no shame. The wheelchair is the secret because, 1, you don't have to walk a whole bunch of miles. 2, you get to skip the lines, right? Skipping the lines is the key to the airport. 3, you get to board the flight first. This is the secret weapon of the airport. Let's go watch. Always want to make friends with your wheelchair guy. What's your name, man? Anthony? Hi, I'm Will. What do I do with my bags? One of the things I love about the airport is it's the great equalizer, right? It doesn't matter where you're from in the universe. When you come to the airport, everybody's the same.
Second floor.
And then we see who the real winners are. So my boarding pass isn't scanning right now. This is why you have to get to the airport early, in case they mess you up. We made it through TSA. Technically, we were not allowed to record TSA because of an event that happened 20 plus years ago. Not going to get into it, all right? But now we're on the other side. The hard part is over. Time to go to our gate. Let's do it. Take me to the moon. So here we are in front of the sea of people. But because we came in a wheelchair, we will be the first ones to board. It's about playing the system.
The airport wheelchair, you cannot walk down. Leave your wheelchair.
That's us.
The moment with Will's family reminds me of so many intervention episodes where the addict freaks out on a family member for no other reason than their own pent-up frustrations. Will has always kept a chip on his shoulder from not feeling good enough or thinking people were looking down on him, and now that he was finally able to walk into a family gathering with some pride because of his TikTok, he immediately let his true self take over and begin to act tough for no reason. If you ask me, I think it's a reasonable question to ask a stranger who you've never met with the camera in your house who they are, and an easily reasonable conversation could take place. But Will truly wanted to try and assert dominance and show his family he's no longer the powerless Will they knew. But he told on himself right away with that reaction. He's confrontational and insecure. Nobody is going to leave that family meeting thinking Will has finally stood up for himself. They'll think his ego is out of control and his self-destructive nature has taken over, and above all else, they'll probably never really want to see much of him again. This, in my opinion, was part of what his brother described about Will and his antics earlier on, and now I can only imagine, because after this, we never really see his brother again on his TikTok, that this severed the ties to the man he called his father figure, because Will embarrassed him in front of the rest of the family, and I'd imagine the family members closest to Will feel the same way as his brother. They're just once again coddling him if they don't mention it. You can always see a good guy in Will, and I hope he changes for the best, But it's moments like this and the airport where it becomes hard to argue with the people who don't like Will and his self-centered nature. He's literally taking advantage of his problems when someone else could have needed that wheelchair service, and it's especially ridiculous when Will is able to work out for long periods of time. He has a job, and it's not like he isn't self-admitting to taking advantage of the wheelchair service itself, all while treating his quote-unquote wheelchair guy like a plaything and making a mockery of his existence. I think the only saving grace at this time was he was trying to self-reflect, but even then, I don't think he was seeing the right things.
Hi, my name is Will, and I'm an incel. Well, actually, I'm not an incel, not anymore at least, but I used to be. It all started back in around 2018 when I first went to college. I had a complete mental breakdown. I was depressed out of my mind. When I get depressed, I stop cleaning myself, right? I stopped showering, I stopped washing my clothes, and I smelt horrendous. Me smelling like that actually got me ostracized because people just didn't want to be around me. That really hurt my self-confidence and made my social anxiety go through the roof. My depression and social anxiety got so bad that I ended up leaving school. Once I left school, I started getting a little better. I started getting back to myself, but I still didn't recover. So the next year when I went to a different school, my confidence was just completely shot, especially when it came to women. My interactions were awkward, uncomfortable. I just didn't know how to talk to people anymore. So what did I do? I isolated. I almost never left my room. Time moves on. I ended up dropping out of school again. And this time I'm on my own, living life. Once I started working at home, that's when things got really bad because I had no reason to leave the house. I gained hundreds of pounds. I let my hair grow out crazy. I was in a dark place. I slowly but surely started working on not being an incel. And now I'm not anymore, bro. I'm doing it to the fullest. I'm living out my dreams by being a full-time content creator, talking to you guys. And that's why I want to give you the raw truth. That's why I wanted to make this post, to let you know it's possible, bro. Just because you're stuck in a bad situation doesn't mean you have to stay there. I'm still over 500 pounds. I still have hundreds of pounds I have to lose. I still am not socially where I need to be yet, but I'm trying to get better every day. And that's all you have to do is just try to get better and it will happen. God will come in. It will work, bro. I promise you. I was fat, but now I'm fatter. Hi, my name is Will. At my heaviest weight, I was over 600 pounds. I've lost over 100 pounds, but over the last 1 or 2 months, my weight has stagnated. And going into July, I actually weigh more than I did going into June. People often ask me how I lost the first 100 pounds. Honestly, it wasn't that hard. My diet back then was so bad, I was drinking 6 liters of soda, eating family-sized fried chicken meals, and as soon as I cut that out, the weight just started to drop. Now that that's no longer an option, and I've cut those things out, my weight's kind of started to stagnate. I gain a little bit, I lose some, I gain a little bit, and I've looked for every excuse to why this is happening. I've not been disciplined. It was coming to me easy at first, and I wasn't taking it serious enough. And now it's hard. Losing weight is now harder than ever before for me. And usually in my life when it gets hard like this is when I quit. I quit every sports team I was ever on as a kid. I quit college. I quit relationships. I quit everything when it gets hard. I'm not quitting this time. I'm hiring a dietitian and a trainer to help me focus, to help me lock in, and help me go harder. So I'm not gonna lie. Your tattoos and height intimidate me, which makes me feel like I'm gonna work harder.
You are?
Yes. So this is already a good start.
I'm glad you got that already situated.
This is already a good start.
All right.
Okay. What do you guys offer?
All right. First of all, what do you really want? Before I offer, I need to know what you want. I need to know what you want. I need to know what you're doing. I need to know everything about as much as I can about eating habits. What do you want and where you want to go?
Okay.
Right.
Eating habits, not great, not bad, not great, just not consistent. Working out, same situation. Not good, not bad, just not consistent.
This is what I like to call the dark times of Will. We are probably seeing him at his lowest. He's lost just about everything. His motivation, his support figures, and his confidence. And right around this time, it's starting to become prevalent from his weight that he began to binge eat once again. And when he's making these videos explaining his past in school and the dark road that led him down that path, I think we're actually getting a good look at what Will would be doing if he didn't have a social media to fall back on. It's Gotta be torturous to have to live a lie to your audience. It's the one thing he can't lose. He's just thrown everything away for it, but at the same time, he can't let the internet know he's not only struggling with his journey, but he's basically given up on it. And keep in mind, also around this time, the power mills had began to dominate his content. He's uploading basically no working out videos, no motivation videos, just a lot of reflecting and power mills. But soon, he had to relent. It was too obvious the lack of workout videos he was making, so he decided to call a trainer and get some help. But once again, in true Will fashion, he puts content over everything, even his own health. So he turns this into just another content idea instead of actually taking it serious.
Food addiction is very real. I just cried over fried chicken. Hi, my name is Will. At my heaviest weight, I was around 630, 640 pounds. I've lost over 100 pounds and I continue to lose. But my weight loss is getting harder due to my food addiction. Losing the first 100 wasn't as hard just because I was in such a dire health position that was all my focus was on. As time went on, I lost over 100 pounds and my health started to get better. I started to get the right medications, get everything in order, and I started feeling better. But that's really when my food addiction started to take hold again. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I wake up thinking about food. I go to sleep thinking about food. Throughout the day, I think about food. Most of my money goes towards food. Even though I'm losing weight, it's so slow because of my food addiction. But I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it with all my might. It's just so hard. Sometimes I'll have stuff to do. Like I'll have a whole day of content to shoot. But the food addiction just keeps calling me and calling me and calling me. And then I gorge food. And then I go into a food coma and I can't move, so I can't shoot the content. So then I make myself throw up. So then I can go and shoot the content so I can make money, so I can then go buy more food, so I can then try to lose the weight from the food. I'm going crazy, bro. I'm going crazy. I don't know what to do. I tried to go to Overeaters Anonymous. It was a bunch of 6-year-old white women, bro. I just wasn't comfortable. I'm sorry. I'm just going through a lot right now, and I really don't know what to do. People constantly ask me if I'm eating my power meals. Bro, I don't gotta eat the power meals, bro. I don't gotta turn on the camera to buy the food. I really be deleting DoorDash from my app and then downloading it back and then deleting it and downloading it back 10 times in a night, bro. I'm really fighting for my life right now and I'm scared. I'm scared because I'm doing everything. I'm in the gym with Coach B. We're going live. We're going crazy in there. I'm shooting content with Santiago. I call him and he's like, hey, bro, he believes in me. I feel like there's nobody I can talk to. I can't talk to my girl about it. I don't want her to see me as weak. I'm scared.
The last segment we just watched, I think was some of the realest Will has ever been with us. The lies were off the table. I'll always say, getting away from food addiction has to be one of the hardest things to do. Not only do you have to eat every day, but in the modern world, you're surrounded by the temptation. If you're addicted to hard substances, move away to an area without it. Easier said than done, but it's a solution. Delete your supplier from your phone, leave your old friends alone, simple rules. But there's no regulations or rules about DoorDash or road signs, all advertising fast food. Drinkers and smokers, they have it a little bit rough because everybody has to go into a gas station every now and then, but it's far worse with people who are addicted to food. I couldn't imagine sitting up at night fighting off the idea to DoorDash because it's so readily available. It's truly an awful addiction. And when it comes to Will, he really told us without telling us just now that yes, he is overeating fast food and he isn't taking his diet serious anymore. This was truly a scream for help. But what's wild is the help was right in his face. He even mentioned them in his trainers and his family, but he can only view that as content as well. There's always a part of Will that's trying to break free from this cycle, but a far bigger and more powerful version of himself's always dragging him back in, like his own twisted version of hell. And his biggest crime to get there was being young and lonely, until it finally molded him into the version we see today. A good guy subdued by his own selfishness, ego, and addiction.
I was Santa Claus to a lot of women this year. I was looking back at my financials for the year, and as I went through it, I saw how much money I spent on women. I went crazy. I spent money on food, hair, nails, plane tickets, rent. I even almost bought somebody a car. And the lesson that I learned from all of this is that I'm not spending Christmas with any of them. Most of them aren't even getting a Merry Christmas text from me. And I'm not blaming any of these women for any of it, right? I freely gave my money away. But I realized I was trying to buy their love. Patrick Dempsey's been told me, you can't buy love. I mean, most of these women I spent money on didn't even love me. A lot of them didn't even like me, bro. But this was the greatest lesson I could have learned. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on people who could care less about me. What does that say about me, bro? I like myself a lot, but I gotta learn how to love myself. I'm spending this Christmas with my mom, shout out to my mom, with Tam Tam, shout out to Tam Tam, with my cousins, with my family, and that's really where I wanna be. I only wanna be around people who really love me, bro. Doing this power meal kind of makes me sad because I don't know where anybody is, bro. Like, I don't really have any childhood friends, right? I had people I was cool with, people I rocked with. Once I went to college, bro, I really stopped talking to everybody in high school. I have no idea what they're doing. I don't even really follow these people on social media. What's your name again, bro? Nick. I'm having a deep moment right now, reminiscing about my life, my decisions. So, yeah. Nick interrupted me while I was pontificating, but it's fine. He's a good guy. Let me know if this is a bar. I never expected to like checkers because my whole life I've been playing chess. This is what I used to eat, guys. And looking at it here up close and personal, this ain't nothing but grease, gang. The fries, the chicken tenders, the wings. This is a whole bunch of artery clogging. Nothing, bro. Nothing, bro. I spent the last week making videos that were completely pandering to you guys. I made workout videos, diet videos, motivational speech videos. And as I watched them back, I realized the one thing I learned this year is I have to be myself. Because when I'm truly me and I'm only living for me and not other people, that's when I like myself the most. So I'm taking a risk. Going into 2026, I'm only making the content I want to make. I'm only making the type of videos I want to make. That might be power meals, vlogs, talking to women, whatever. I'm going to be me. My weight doesn't define me, and I'm not going to allow it to define my content either. I appreciate you guys. I keep gaining weight, and I don't know how to stop. I stepped on the scale for the first time in about a month, and I'm 560 pounds. That's the most that I've weighed in more than a year. And seeing that number really had me frazzled. It really shook me up. I felt my body changing. I feel myself gaining weight, moving a little slower, feeling a little heavier, but I never would have thought I was 560. I get so much backlash in the comments that when everyone was talking about, Will, you don't do workouts, Will, you're eating your power meals, blah, 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 all of these things that just aren't true, it really made me go into rebellious mode. I was like, forget it then, bro. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to stop working out. I'm going to do what I want to do. Fine. Forget it. But I realized I'm really just hurting myself. Most people who watch my videos aren't locked in. Most people watch it for 30 seconds and go about their day. But there are some people who watch who are really counting on me. And I can't quit on those people. I can't quit on myself. I can't give up. And I can't self-sabotage because some other people are trying to put me down. So I went and got a gym membership. I'm back in the gym tomorrow. I'm back on my diet. I won't quit. I'm changing my life. And if you're here with me, please let me know in the comments. I need all the support possible.
The self-destructive nature of Will really has him stumbling half a step forward and then purposely walking 20 feet back. It seems like every time that Will takes a 4 or 5 day break from uploading, his life completely changes. And keep in mind, when he revealed he had gained weight again, he had just posted getting a new trainer a few weeks prior, and already he's quit on him and moved on, most likely because the trainer was being too hard on him. But don't worry, he'd hire him back shortly and start a cycle where he'd fire him, give up on him, and come crawling back. And things aren't going to get better. In fact, they're only going to get worse because the urge to finally have some companionship overwhelmed Will. So he decided to skip step B and C of improving his life and go right to step Z, fully committing to being a content creator, only using the gym as a way to keep the viewers hanging on, as the Power Mill content still continued to dominate his channel, and now more than ever he was using his ever-growing popularity to meet women online, to surprisingly now varying degrees of success.
I broke up with my girlfriend, and honestly, I feel relieved. I still love Z, But Tina loved Ike. What's love got to do with it, dog? I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I was miserable. She's probably watching this right now, so I'm gonna keep it as respectful as possible. But being 100% honest with you, I really think she was trying to kill my spirit. And the problem is, she almost did it. I was so anxious being with her because nothing I did ever felt good enough. All it was criticize, criticize, criticize. At least that's how I felt. She said that she loved me, but I realized there's no way she could have loved me because she really didn't even accept me. Even when I talked to her about having to make this video, she said to me, I was trying to fix you. Bro, I don't need to be fixed. I'm okay. I'm okay. And I'm really realizing that for the first time in my life, that there's nothing wrong with me. I like who I am. For the first time in my life, I like who I am. Z is a great person. The day after I broke up with her, she sent me this message. And after I read it, it really had me thinking, wow, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe we should get back together, whatever. But I realized if I'm going to become the person I want to become, if I'm going to lose this weight, if I'm going to get my spirit up, if I'm going to do everything I need to do to be the best Will Kelly possible, I have to accept myself. And the person I'm with also has to accept me for who I am today, not who I'm going to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So me and Z are done. I've been going through a lot. With what I'm going through, I just didn't want to come to the gym today. I was running late, and Coach B definitely was going to let me hear it. Happy Monday, man.
Happy Monday, my ass. You late as shit.
I'm sorry, bro. My bad, man. It just felt like he was egging me on the whole time. Push.
Give me a nice. You must be injured. You must be.
My back was spasming. I just did 30 fucking seconds.
Yeah.
I told you my back was spasming. You better like them niggas in comments. Stop fucking with me, Coach B.
And that's what I'm.
Stop.
And that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you, Will Kelly.
Will has so many mental struggles and hurdles that he has to get over. Let's keep in mind that Will still hasn't successfully got his license, something at the very beginning of his journey he was adamant on. Will realistically hasn't accomplished a single goal we set forward, almost getting back to 600 pounds at one point. I just don't believe having a relationship is something he can emotionally handle, and he set himself up for failure when he inevitably loses them, which only leads to more overeating. We don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, the last girlfriend he mentioned having, but when Will says his ex-girlfriend over-criticized him, I can only believe she was giving him reasonable advice. There's a reason he pushes people away, because they tell him the hard truths. Your girlfriend doesn't want to watch you slowly pass away, so of course she's going to be trying to help you. Accepting you doesn't mean allowing you to throw your life away. And self-sabotage, you can love and accept somebody, but want nothing to do with them because of their self-destructive behavior. It's not something most people willingly go into, and we don't truly know how she went about it, but this is the same man who couldn't understand the reason his uncle was upset about a stranger with the camera in his house. And let's not ignore that bringing up something as difficult as a breakup to your audience isn't going to help anything. It kind of reinforces the idea that you're using your own misery for content. Consequences be damned, and you're not emotionally responsible enough to handle a relationship while having your own struggles. Look at the way he freaks out on his coach because he was pushing him just a little bit. There are far better ways to approach that situation if you're in serious pain, which I doubt the way Will sprung up he really was. And keep in mind, this man Will just treated like that is helping him for free because he likes Will and wants to see him succeed.
Watch my mom fix my depression. Fix my depression. I need your help.
I can't fix your depression. You can fix your depression. But I can love on you, Bubba.
Hug.
Love on me. Hug, Bubba.
No, I've been dealing with like severe depression, mental health. You know this. I'll call you every
Off
day.
and on your whole life.
Off and on my whole life. But like, I'm becoming successful. I'm losing weight. I'm making more money than I ever have. I have more attention than I ever have. When does this stop?
When you start loving yourself and looking inside of yourself for your happiness and acceptance and not looking outside for people to validate you, you will reclaim your power and you will start to grow.
Do you think it maybe, I don't know, you would have been a better mother? I would not be dealing with these issues at 25 years old?
It's always the mother's fault. It's always the mother's fault. Of course, it's my fault.
Okay, as long as we can.
Lies.
I was a little frustrated with this conversation because I know my mom is 100% right. Nobody can fix my depression but me. But I don't know what to do. My life is great. Why do I feel bad? I have no idea. If you have any advice on what I can do to feel better that doesn't involve food, please let me know. Watch me battle my demons at Howard University. All right, guys, today we are at Howard University. Right now, I'm on a quest, going back to all of the milestones of my life, figuring out how did I get to be over 600 pounds? What happened? When I went to Howard, I was around 380 pounds. It was a crazy experience. I'm doing what the average Howard University dropout does. I'm hanging out on the yard. I realize now, this is where me just hanging out kind of started, bro. This is when my life went into simulation mode. I transferred to Howard after going to a different school in Virginia, and I had a mental breakdown there. And when I came here, I didn't fully recover, bro. I probably should have been really in a mental hospital and not at a college university, but I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want my life to stop, and I wanted to keep pushing, and I ended up just making myself so much worse, man. Part of the reason I was so bummed out going here is because I couldn't bag anything. My self-esteem was in the garbage. I was so insecure, and that's fine, right? Cool. You can't bag anything. I was also surrounded by the most beautiful women on the planet. Anybody who's been to Howard, let them know in the comments. I'm not exaggerating. I'm surrounded by it, and I can't bag anything? Anything? If my self-esteem wasn't low already, it tanked it. It went so much worse. This is what I used to see at Little Caesars when I was over 600 pounds. It was crazy. Let's check it out. All right, guys. Today, we are at Little Caesars. And I love Little Caesars. Not even for the food necessary. Little Caesars taught me a very valuable lesson about life. America hates poor people. That is just a fact. Why do I say Little Caesars taught me that America hates poor people? Because Little Caesars is good. Little Caesars is actually delicious. It's just cheap. And because Little Caesars is cheap, people act like Little Caesars isn't good. May I please have some Detroit-style deep dish pepperoni and a 2-liter Dr. Pepper. Brisk iced tea, I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, thank you. How many people do you think I can feed with this meal?
This, in general, like
4 people for $15? In this economy? Are you for real? You eat Little Caesars?
I'm trying to stay away from it.
You don't want to look like me, is that what you're saying?
No.
No, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. It's cool. It's cool. All right, guys, real quick. Shout out to Detroit. Detroit loves Little Caesars. I don't know if the country knows that, but I think Little Caesars started in Detroit. That's how much Little Caesars loves Detroit. But we're not in Detroit right now. We're in Maryland. Shh.
The showman side of Will has came into full effect. The main appeal to his content is no longer a weight loss journey. It's a sideshow attraction where a man eats an enormous amount of food, orders and claims not to eat an enormous amount of food, and in between you get to see their cope sessions, even using his mom like a side character where she tells him the truth and he can go home and say she's right but do nothing about it. At this point in time, early 2026, Will's content took a change in direction. Instead of rizzing girls on the street, he would begin taking women from the BBW community to fast food restaurants for power meals or local rappers. The production quality truly skyrocketed at the cost of his own mental and physical health, and he was becoming far ruder to the workers at whatever fast food joint he stepped into.
It's Thanksgiving, and I'm about to gorge myself on food. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I've dealt with some severe depression over these last 2 months, and I've been using food as a coping mechanism, and I've gained weight. I've gained a lot of weight. I was talking to people, and I realized my food issue is very, very, very serious, and I need help. So I'm actually joining Overeaters Anonymous, and I'm locking in. So today's the last day that I'm going to just go all out, eat myself to oblivion. I figured that's what today's about anyway. That and, taking things that don't belong to you. Bro, I'm embarrassed to make this video, dog. I'm super embarrassed, but I gotta be honest with you. I can't lie to you guys. I can't. So, if you, people tell me that regressing is a part of the journey, that weight fluctuates and everything, but guys, I I weigh more right now than when I started, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I'm scared, but I'm thankful that I have people in my corner. I have a support system, and I'm going to continue to fight this thing, man. Bro, the nostalgia's kind of wearing off, and I'm just remembering how lonely I used to be, bro. I'm alone a lot, but I'm not as lonely as I was when I was a kid, bro. I used to be just, bro, like, I used to have nothing, bro. So, like, food was just everything to me. It was the highlight of my day. It was my best friend. It was my lover. Check out the chicken grease video. If you know, you know. All right, man, this used to be the spread. Back at the crib, this is what I used to do. I used to put the fries on one plate, the big pieces of chicken on one plate, and the small pieces of chicken on another plate, and I would just snack on it all day. I come, get some fries, get a big piece of chicken, eat it, wait 30 minutes, get some more fries, another piece of chicken, eat it, wait an hour and a half, get some more fries, get 2 pieces of small chicken, eat it, and that used to just be my day, bro. That used to be my Saturday, that used to be my Sunday. And this is when I was older, right? This is when I was like 16, 17, because I had the money to buy it, bro, because this is like 40 bucks. You know I had the Tabasco. Always had the Tabasco. Tabasco. Cut that check. Yeah, man, I'm just... Yeah, bro. Will Kelly wins. I fired my trainer. If you're someone who's been following my journey, you know I had a trainer I was very close to, Coach B. Coach B is the best trainer in Chicago. He agreed to train me for free, and I fired him. I sent him a text like a coward, even though all he's done for me is look out for me. All he's done for me is try to help me. All he's done for me is try to get me to win. I didn't like the way he talked to me in the session, and because of that, I just quit. M, a woman I very much cared about, the woman I made the I'm dating a single mom video about, basically sent me a text and said she wanted nothing to do with me. And instead of giving her her space so maybe we can rekindle something, I bombarded her with texts and phone calls until eventually she felt the need to block me on everything. I was on the phone with my best friend of 8 years, and I told him that I didn't have any friends, basically alluding to him that him and I weren't friends either. I doubled back and I apologized for that, but I could tell I hurt his feelings. I'm self-sabotaging, bro, and I don't know why. Every time I eat a meal, I know I'm not supposed to be eating it, but I do it anyway. It's almost as if my identity is completely attached to being miserable, and I'll do anything to stay there. I always complain about how alone I feel, and when great people like Coach B come into my life, I push them away. I don't know what's wrong with me, bro. And I genuinely don't know what to do. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be a different person. I don't know why it's so hard for me to change. I don't know why it's so hard for me to accept love from other people. And it's ruining my life. I know with the way I eat, if I continue down this road, bro, I'm not going to live another 10 years. I'm self-sabotaging my life.
What we're seeing right now is this odd scenario that happens with most content creators who base their living around food, and that is sooner or later it becomes inescapable. You've got to continue eating or you lose everything. Because of their newfound popularity, not only did the Power Meals draw in more viewers, they almost eclipsed some of his workout videos. It'd be hard for anybody not to repeat making Power Meal videos, so that's what Will did. Now because of that popularity, the one thing he holds dearest, TikTok fame, is at risk if he ever stops eating out and stops being self-destructive. So he has to hold his feet to the fire with no other choice because the ulterior is far scarier to him. We've seen the same thing happen to Zio the Dreamer, but by the time I got to her story, it was almost too late. She had been in a coma and almost hospitalized for around a year at that point, with little function in her legs to this day. That's the fate Will Kelly is shooting for if he keeps prioritizing TikTok clout over his own personal health. And the sad part is, he'd still hold strong viewership getting healthy, but it's far easier to eat out and get superior views than exercise and lose views.
I went to Overeaters Anonymous, and it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. Me admitting that I have a food addiction is nothing new. I've said it a million times. But talking to my therapist, we both agreed that I needed help and I couldn't do it by myself. So I decided to go and reach out to strangers, which makes me super duper uncomfortable. But I was like, what the hell? I'll go do it. I tried to find a meeting in Chicago. There were no meetings in Chicago. The closest meeting was like an hour away. But when I called the number of the person running the meeting and sent a text, I got no response. So I go to a Zoom meeting. And when I'm in the Zoom meeting, I guess they have regulars, and I'm just not a regular. They called me out. Now, the thing about Overeaters Anonymous that has made me not want to go in the past, it's the demographic. There's no other way for me to say it. It's old white women. It's white women who are 50 plus, who are skinny. And there's me, over 500 pounds, young black male. They made me turn my camera on, introduce myself, make me say a bunch of things I just was not comfortable with, bro. They really grilled me for like 5 minutes, and they said they were doing it for their safety. So I'm having to manufacture the help from people, and I keep running into walls. I know I can't do this by myself, but I also don't know what to do. I'm losing everybody in my life. Honestly, I've not dropped as much content as I usually do because in my personal life, the walls are closing in. My brother, the person I love most in the world, our last conversation ended with him screaming about how much he hated me. I recently fired my therapist because my brother's going to see her, and that just made me super uncomfortable. I didn't like the idea of somebody bad-mouthing me to my therapist behind my back. So now that I no longer have my therapist, I don't know what to do. She's been somebody who's really helped me along my journey. Me and my best friend are in a good place, but honestly, as we're growing as people, as we're growing as men, I see us going in 2 different directions. I love him more than anything, but something's just with our conversations, we're not relating as much as we used to, and I don't know what to do. Santiago, my trusted cameraman, the guy I'm with the most every single day, I have to remind myself this is a transactional relationship. If I stop paying, he's gone tomorrow, bro. I feel so alone.
William was now in full panic mode. His reputation had completely crumbled. People no longer believed a word that he said, and we rarely, if ever, got to see the happy-go-lucky guy from the start. It was excuse after excuse and zero progress. And we're now officially done with him after he had fired his coach. If you go back and look at his comment section, it was normal for a long time. The most hearted comments were in support and hopeful for his future, but now they're just littered with people calling him out. So in a desperate move to save face, Will started what I like to call the rebound arc. Realizing the internet wasn't the solution to his problems like he thought in the beginning, at least socially, he began to reach out to groups like Eaters Anonymous, but felt threatened when he was reasonably asked to tell his story on day 1, and just the way Will tried to go about it, it was awkward, and would make most people uncomfortable, so I understand the poor lady's confusion at first. Little did they know, they activated Will's self-defense mode, and when he feels even just a little bit of discomfort, there's a solid chance he's never coming back. And just like so many things in his life, this was just something else he gave up on. But even after quickly rehiring his coach, Will would go on to do something that would define his career, possibly forever.
This is why I used to get Jamba Juice when I was over 600 pounds. It was crazy. Let's check it out. All right, guys. Today, we are at the legendary Jamba Juice. I actually have a Jamba Juice song. Jamba Juice, juice, juice. Jamba Juice, juice, juice. Jamba Juice, juice, juice. Jamba Juice. I know, it's a hit. This is what I used to eat at Jamba Juice when I was over 600 pounds, and I was convincing myself I was being healthy. If you actually look at the calories I was consuming, it was insane. I was tricking myself. I was lying to myself, but I don't do that anymore. I just order the food and give it away. Let's see what I used to get. Sure do wish I could get some service. Excuse me, sir. What's going on, man?
Yo, bro, you can't be back here.
Oh, we can't. Oh, my bad. I was just wondering if you could take my order.
Yeah, but I'm doing stuff, so you gotta wait. Like,
all right, yeah, no, I'll wait.
Nah, but what you, like, can't just be walking back here.
All right, bro, I'll go back over there. I do it whenever I'm not getting my order, man. I'm doing it whenever I'm not getting my order. I literally was just telling you I'm up here waiting. Bro, I'm over here now. We good.
I don't even gotta take your order, but like, why are you coming back here like that?
Dog, I'm back over here. We good. Got his attention. Oh, we can order on the pad, bro? Oh, okay. My bad, man. It's just you working, bro? Yeah, I feel you. Clearly hates his job. I just made his job more difficult. Kinda feel like a jerk. Kinda don't care. How much do you charge a session?
Depends.
Okay, so
yeah.
what I what I charge for a brand deal surpasses however much you would charge for a session. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Every time that you're on my page, to me, it was just an exchange of commerce. It was, I'm going to do these videos with you. I'm going to blow up your brand. You're going to help me lose weight, right? That was my idea for whatever trainer I interacted with. Let me ask you a question. Was there ever a concept for a video that I brought to you that didn't go?
Not necessarily, but what's the POV?
At a certain point, I was bringing you concepts for videos and you were denying the videos. You were saying, I don't want to do those videos. I'm just saying, let's not pretend like you weren't at a certain point trying to protect your brand.
What videos? What I'm curious.
I had bread on the table for both of us. It was a lightsaber deal, right? This dude made personal lightsabers. He wanted me to feature the lightsaber in a workout, right? I negotiated the deal. I came to you. All right, Coach B, this is the video 1, 2, 3. And you were like, nah, you weren't with it. It was going to be a Jedi workout. That was the concept. We were going to do a video basically training like a Jedi.
I get that was the content piece at the same time. Doing a sword workout, I just felt like it would look like, hey, what am I doing with as a trainer, right? Like, does that make sense though?
Coach B, it makes perfect sense. Don't act like you weren't thinking about your brand. You were 100% thinking about your brand.
No, I'm thinking of bro.
That's not thinking about your brand.
It's about just the people having trust in me as being a personal trainer. So if I have you doing a sword workout, then how is that telling people like, hey, I can trust him to train me? That's my point of view, bro.
I understand it makes sense. That is just a lot more words to say. I was trying to protect my brand.
How am I protecting my brand? I'm just protecting me being a personal trainer, bro.
Yes, that is your brand as a personal trainer. I want to be a trusted source for people to come and get personal training. I think if I do this video, they will not see me as a trusted source. I am protecting that.
So if that's the case, what's the issue with that?
The issue is actually it's not an issue. That thing, if it was just that thing, it was not an issue. There was never a workout you told me to do where I was like, I'm not doing that workout. You feel what I'm saying? Coach B, I was trying to really take us to the promised land.
Will, all the videos that we've done, man, that's maybe the one video we haven't done.
No, there were a few. There were a handful. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. I had ideas and concepts. Coach B, I would tell you, bro, you don't got to do nothing. Me and Shanti will come in on our days off, 100% fee, knock the videos out for you, Coach B. I just need you to pull up. Get a photo with me, brother.
Yo. 71.
I'm falling! Help! Thank you guys. We're a team now. We're a team now, baby. Don't you love the youth? We got the streets and we got the youth, bro. I be trying to tell you. They don't believe Will Kelly. Believe me when you see me, you heard? It's a fast food joint. I mean, I was expecting it to be a little bit faster. Not gonna lie. I guess we'll just wait outside for the food. Wait in here, bro. Meet me outside. Bro, look at me sitting at this table, bro. This is embarrassing. Look at this. But we changing it. I'm changing my life. Let's see what we used to get. Boom. 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 What else is there, bro? Santi, my cameraman, loves In-N-Out cheeseburgers, so he's gonna be eating these. You see why? Look how thick the cheese is, man. Look how fresh the tomato is. Fresh the lettuce, fresh the onion. Check out the bun. You can smell it, baby.
Will's attitude has hit its worst. It was impossible not to notice he started disrespecting his cameraman Santiago, a guy who films with him almost every day. He no longer started to respect others. He was the star of the show, and he was going to let everybody know it. Coming into the establishments, basically yelling, having to be told to quiet down in multiple videos, which he rarely listened. He starts storming into people's boundaries, and unlike earlier videos, no longer respected people who didn't want to be in his content. And the people who suffered the most from this was the employees. He started treating them like he paid their check, ridiculing, mocking, and generally making their life harder every step of the way. This finally hit its boiling point when he had the audacity to walk in a back area of a restaurant demanding a man's attention who was working alone. Who knows what the man was thinking? He could have believed he was in danger for all we know, but that didn't bother Will. In fact, it upset Will that somebody had the nerve to tell him what to do when he was in show mode, showing a complete lack of regard for the employee's feelings, even when Will is trying to ask for the man's service. It doesn't get much more disrespectful in the service industry than that, and the backlash was enormous. All of Will's comments are flooded with the Jamba Juice incident this, Jamba Juice incident that. He tried to sweep it up. I was only able to find it from what seems to be a Will Kelly archive channel on YouTube. And with him getting into another argument with his coach, I don't know if Will Kelly's reputation is salvageable. I think that there's a good person deep down, but I don't know if Will can ever find him again. As his TikTok grows and shows no sign of slowing down and his attitude and mental health are getting worse along with it, there's little to no hope that Will can improve anytime soon, let alone get back into completing his goal of becoming fit. But still yet, I have hope for him and I hope that he can succeed later in his life. But at the time, I just can't see it. But I think that was enough for me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, comment, use the new hype feature, and I'll catch you guys next time.